comes down to the skill of communication. Yeah. And it would be fair to say that we have said on this program, the Governor of the Reserve Bank, we think does a great job of communication. We think that that Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve does a great job of communicating, and others around him as well. Here, because there's been mixed messages come out, there's changes in forecasts, there's promises that interest rates aren't going to move. They're not promises, but they sort of look like promises. You know, this is where the confusion becomes really set in, and yet interest rate policy should be pretty straightforward for people to understand.
Oh, I'm not sure. I mean, so where there's disagreement, there always will be a bit of confusion and uncertainty, but I think that's appropriate. You don't want to pretend that all the issues are settled and clear when, in fact, there is substantial disagreement as to where it should go.
But there's one agreement, isn't there, here, and that is you can't go back to a situation where politicians set interest rates, because politicians will do the politically expedient and popular thing, i.e. not put interest rates up, and that's why you still, and I think everybody would agree, need a vigorously independent Reserve Bank board.
Yes, but the independence needs to be constrained. It should be the responsibility of our elected representatives to set the goals of the central bank, such as 2 to 3% inflation, and the United States, you mentioned, they also target full employment. They shouldn't be decided by unelected bureaucrats. They should be decided by our elected representatives. But once you've got the objectives settled by a democratic process, it's then a technical question. And you want technical experts. It's a technical question. How do you achieve that objective? And you want experts making that decision,
is a separate monetary policy committee and then a separate board. So distinctly different organisations or groups that decide interest rates versus actually run the Reserve Bank. Is that a smart decision?
That's the way that central bank is going. That overseas, the Bank of England most clearly, the Bank of Canada, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand, though there are debates as to that, they're all moving towards that kind of model where you have a monetary policy committee composed of monetary policy experts deciding on interest rates, but then all the other broader questions that a central bank has to deal with can be decided by another board.
OK, just a quick one for you. As we go through this whole process, does Philip Lowe get reappointed for another term beyond September? What's your gut feel?
I think that's looking unlikely. They say that the report is very substantial, 300 pages, 51 recommendations. That's implicitly 51 suggestions for change from what Phil Lowe was doing. He's probably not the person to put through those big changes.
I'll tell you, it's going to be fascinating to watch it. We will see with interest between now and the federal budget, probably in April sometime, when the Treasurer does hand down his response to this report. Peter Tulip, great to have you on the program today.
My pleasure, Ross.